Collins of DietHobby.com. Some of you know me as the YouTube Grandma. Today I'm going to show you how I make my beef pot roast. It's one of the easiest things you could ever make, and it's really good. It's not a diet recipe unless you make it one, and how you make it one is by the portion size that you have. The portion size you're going to have is 1/15 of this whole recipe, and how you would measure that out would be like maybe 3 ounces of meat and a cup of the vegetables, cup and a half of the vegetables. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, I'm going to start out with my pan, and I like to use this. These are my favorite little pans to use, and I'm not going to have the food touching it probably, but I like cleanup to be easy, so I always use non-stick coating. Okay, the next thing I do is I have these little oven bags, this is a large size for family meals. This is an incredible time saver. I use them all the time, and it also makes your food really moist and delicious, and you can't mess up when you cook this way. You can't have like a dry roast or burn things. If you're anywhere near the recipe, it'll work out really well. Okay, so I take this bag, I'm going to kind of spray inside with the coating so the meat doesn't stick. And I've got here a chuck roast, and it's 3 pounds. It's a lean, all the rim fat is removed, but you know, it's 3 pounds. And what I'm going to do with this, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump this whole thing in this bag. Okay, and I've got this whole thing in this bag. Now, I'm going to take this pan, and I'm going to put the bag in the pan. Okay, now I'm going to, just to taste, I'm going to salt and pepper. You know, if you don't use salt and pepper, then don't do that. You know, I do, so I'm showing you how that I would cook this, and in fact, how I am cooking it. Sometimes I would use garlic powder and just spray garlic powder on, but today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this garlic. It's a garlic cloves, and I'm going to spread. I got about two teaspoons of this. It's about 2 garlic cloves, and I'm just going to kind of spread this all over inside the bag. That's on one side. I turn it over, get the other half, and that's just to give it some flavor, you know, because I like garlic, and garlic makes things taste really good. So if you don't like onions and garlic, I don't know how you could use my recipe. And that's all I do, onions and garlic on everything. Okay, because my husband loves it, and so do I. Okay, now I have my meat in this bag, and it's seasoned with salt and pepper and the garlic. Next thing all I have to do now is put the rest of my ingredients in here. So I'm going to start with, I've got a 12-ounce bag of baby carrots. I'm just going to dump them in. I've got 5 stalks of celery, just cut up about like that, not cut fine, it's just pieces like that, and I'm going to dump those on top. Okay, now I have a large onion, and it's not cut, it's just cut up in chunks, it's not chopped up or anything, and I'm going to put about half of that in. Now I have 6 4-ounce potatoes, right about 4 ounces, and I've got them cut up into chunks kind of like this, so they'll cook well, and I'm dumping those on top. And then I'm going to dump on top of the whole thing the rest of my onion. Okay, so it's all together, and I'm putting it together. Now there's a little twisty, these little bags come with these little twisty things, and so then I just twist it up to seal it. And I've got my oven preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to poke just a few holes to let the steam out so it doesn't get too bad. Maybe like 4 with a fork. like that, just so I let the steam out so the bag doesn't get carried away. This is it. Now I'm going to put it in the oven, 350 degrees, for 2 hours. And we'll come back in 2 hours and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, our pot roast is out of the oven, and here it is, still in the bag. You can see the steam is coming out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a scissors and I'm going to cut the bag to make it easier to get the food out. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of, I've never done this in front of a camera, so I kind of dump this out of the bag into the pan so I can serve it up. All right, so here it is. Let's see, the potatoes are really tender, so are the carrots, and the meat looks good. Meat's tender. So you're saying how? Okay, now I only 351 calories for 1/15 of this. So how am I going to figure 1/15? Well, I figured out about 4 ounces of this meat is the correct amount. No, 3 ounces. 3 ounces is the correct amount of meat to have for the 1/15. So I've got my food scale here. I'm going to measure it out so that you can get an idea of how it looks. Okay, that's 2 ounces and to like 2 1/4 ounces. That's exactly 3 ounces right there. This is a 3 ounce serving of meat, which is a respectable portion. It's the amount of, this is actually considered an appropriate serving size for a woman. A man can maybe have 5 ounces or maybe 6, but anyway, so this is it. So I'm going to put that on my plate. So then how much of the other could I have, which is 1/15? Well, I've been looking at that, and I'm thinking that 2 of these little potato chunks is almost a 1/2 cup. So I can have 2 of these little potato chunks. And then maybe I can have about another 1/4 cup of these little carrots, little celery mixed in. And I think we can fill that up all the way to the top of the 1/2 cup if we're going to add onions to it. So the onions, the celery, and the carrots is another 1/2 cup. Okay? So this is 1/15 of a serving. This right here, this is how much food that I should be eating. This is 1/15 of the serving. 1/15 is 351 calories, 17 carbs, 29 grams of protein. That's all the protein that I would need for a meal. That's all of the carbs that I would need for a meal. This is a respectable meal. If I want more, then I could have a salad, maybe some cucumbers, a tomato, something that's really, really low calorie, some kind of vegetable besides this. But this is the respectable amount, 351 calories. If I were a larger person, I could have double this. If I were a man, I could have double this, okay? I could skip the potatoes and I could have more carrots, and maybe I could have a whole cup of the vegetables if I skip the potatoes or cut back on them. Now, understand, if I add butter to this, then I would probably be adding, say, 1 pat of butter would be 50 calories, because that's about a 1/2 tablespoon. A pat of butter is about a 1/2 tablespoon. So that would be 50 more calories. So if I added a little bit of butter to this, which would make it real tasty also, that would be 400 calories here, which is still a good meal, okay? But you understand that we eat way too much. We're used to eating way too much, and that's why we're too fat. Come and see me, Diet Hobby. Oh, see, I keep forgetting to eat. Now that's really, I'm gonna have a bite of this carrot. You know, it's amazing how good that carrots are when you cook them with onion. Come and see me, DietHobby.com.